I had been searching for a title for my blog, and I'm not terribly good at titles. I used to write science fiction stories a lot, not very good ones, but it was fun for me. And the hardest part was always the title. They tended to be a little bit either overly melodramatic or too explanatory or something along those lines. So when it came time to think of a title for my blog, I rejected a lot of them. And then I was driving along, and Cosmic Grace just popped into my head. It had just the right touch of melodrama, as well as not being very, well, it's not an explanation at all, really, and that's why I'm here. Grace is one of my absolute favorite words. And by grace, I don't mean it in the technical sense that Christians use it as something that's put on us from outside or given to us or that we receive. Rather, I'm talking about a quality, a way of living, a quality that comes from inside us. I'm thinking really of a dancer when I think of grace. A dancer moves with grace. And I think what we mean by that is that a dancer is part of it appears to be at one with his or her surroundings. They're not fighting against anything, they're just moving. And they're moving in a way that appears natural to their body, even though it's not. And that is the secret, I think, is that in order to achieve grace or a graceful state of being, it takes a lot of work of different kinds. And that's why I like the idea of a dancer, because it has to do, there's a lot of mental learning that goes into that, and there's also a lot of body learning. And for me, spirituality is one of the most important things in my life. And in the last 3 years, it's really been brought home to me that spirituality is not something that happens in your brain and in your spirit. It's something that also happens in your body. So there's that whole element of it as well. It's about a whole person being engaged with life and engaged with the meaning of life. So a dancer, has worked for years to be able to achieve graceful movement. And that's really, I guess, my goal in life, is to live life with grace, where you're always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, as they say. That you kind of know you're in flow. I believe, and I think it's a fact, that we are all made from energy. Our eyes create solid objects out of what is actually movement and energy. And if we are part of that, and we accept our part and our role in the universe, then we can move through life with the same ease as an animal does, knowing who it is and where it's going, and without the kind of angst that humans sometimes bring to the equation. I guess the biggest difficulty with that is that, as far as we can empirically tell, we only get one chance at this. So it's kind of like we're the dancer practicing and performing all at once, which makes it maybe a little bit of a different kind of challenge. And where the cosmic part comes in is, I guess, two different ways. One is that I think we tend to get so focused on our planet and what it's like to live here, and how to do that, how to have 7 billion people live peacefully where everybody's fed, and also to ensure the survival of our brothers and sisters that share this planet with us. That we forget in all of that, which is all important stuff, we forget that we're part of the universe, which is so incredibly vast that we can't comprehend it at all, not even for a second. And I think it brings a different perspective to our problems. So that's part of it. And the other part is cosmic in a different sense, I guess. Cosmic meaning including everything. And that's because I don't think that spirituality is found in books about spirituality necessarily. It can be, of course. But spirituality is also found doing the dishes and raising children and having relationships, and even in things that some religions or people might consider to be more profane, like investing and what to do with your money and how to live a comfortable life. These are all important things. They're important to our spiritual journey, not just to our physical comfort. Well, I guess what I mean is actually the opposite, that our physical comfort is part of our spiritual journey. So in this blog, you can expect to hear me talk about, well, anything, whatever I happen to be into at at the time. Which right now, let's see, I just read a book by about Warren Buffett's investing style. I read a book about modern art. I'm really into yoga right now, so expect some posts soon about that. I like science, and I just think anything can come into it. So the one thing that all of my posts will have in common is that I see them all as part of the larger spiritual thread that runs through my life and always has, and has always been the absolute most important thing to me. Coming from a very fundamentalist Christian background to being a pagan where I am now, and all of the stages that I went through in between, that has been the common thread, is that I care about spirit and I care about a spiritual journey, and I want to learn to live that in my day-to-day life with grace.